All right, guys, welcome. This is bdkrantz. Hey, I want to talk about ex-Amway distributors win big, and what are we talking about when we're saying that? We're not going to be here blowing smoke. We're not here to trash and bash the company, but I think as a former business owner and a current business owner, and my partners in crime here, Adam and Ashley Reeker as well, if you're going to join a business or network marketing company, you want to take some good look at business facts. You want to look at it and do due diligence as a business person before you invest your time and energy in the company. So I want to talk, I think the numbers don't lie here, but Adam, Ashley, I want to talk about Amway motivational organizations, because this was problems that Amway Corporation had in the early 80s when these motivational organizations started really taking hold and growing. And I won't go into all the ins and outs, but the data's out there, but they basically let them run their organizations the way they do. The organization I was part of, Worldwide Dream Builders, was headed up by Ron Pereira, who has since passed away. But here's some interesting facts about this. And Adam, I'll let you talk about your organization here. This is what really is interesting to me. I was in the business from 91 to 2005. The current data available says that Worldwide has 17 current qualified diamonds on their Worldwide Dream Builders organization as of 2019. Now, what's really interesting about that number is since 2005, they've only added 4 brand new diamonds, guys. That's 4. All the other 13 have all been diamonds all that time. So they've only added 4 brand new diamonds in a 15-year period of time. That would raise a flag, or at least bring up a question on my part. What do you guys?
I'll tell you what, if they've only broken 4 new diamonds and it takes 6 platinums to make a diamond, they've only broken 24 platinums in that time frame. And that's even more pathetic than breaking a new diamond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think something we look at when observing an organization is, what does growth look like? There's a difference between healthy growth, long-term sustainable growth versus, kind of the cash grab that we can sometimes see someone coming in with a large network, right? That to me shows like an inability to grow. And that shows the fact that if I'm a brand new person trying to join that organization, I'm going to have a uphill battle trying to succeed.
Well, by the way, this is the first time this beautiful young lady has been on with Brad and I in this series.
Yeah, it's so fun to join. So my husband, Adam, and I, we built our business together. We've been in network marketing for well over 12 years. Amway was actually our first.
I think it's 15. It's going on 15.
You were probably 15. I'm
yeah.
okay. So Amway was our first ever network marketing company. It was the first thing that I ever got like a glimpse to, and it completely this industry has completely just changed our lives for the better. Mm-hmm. But we have learned so much in the past of what to do and what not to do. And so I'm just really excited, Brad, to be here with you. Thank you, honey, for inviting me on today, because I love to get to share the knowledge and kind of some of our lessons learned as well.
Well, I got to tell anybody that's watching this, I don't know that this is a strategy I would recommend to a young entrepreneur in this industry, but I was an Amway guy when I was 19 years old, and I met this young lady, and I said, hey, by the way, we're not dating unless you're on my Amway team.
You did.
And in that mentality, that didn't necessarily come from Amway. It came from, it kind of did, but it kind of didn't. I wanted to win. I wanted to have a lifelong business partner with my wife, and we'll get into that in a future segment, because that's very rare. But Ashley Reeker, everyone.
Hello. It worked out well for us, though, didn't it?
Well, it's good now.
They would say you sponsored up, buddy.
Oh yeah. No one could ever accuse me of sponsoring down. I'm like, I looked at my
right.
So true.
That's awesome, man.
Brad, you talked a little bit about some of the motivational organizations. You came from an organization, I think that was West Coast based. We came from an organization that was East Coast
based.
This
is so awesome, because Brad was in from 91 to 2005.
Yeah.
I was in from 2006 to 2011.
Crazy.
So that's like 20 years. That's literally 20 years. And the stuff we have connected on.
A lot of it parallels.
Whoa.
Yeah. So by way of contrast, I want to go back. I said something last week on the previous video that I really, and I believe this from my heart, and I think the numbers are going to bear this out. The Amway business is a really tough business to build. It's an even harder business to keep together. And here's fine. I'm just going to talk. I looked at and I forget if I mentioned this last week, the top 100 list of earners in MLM. Jeunesse, having been in business a little over 10 years, guys, has 17 of the top 100 17% of it in 10 years. That got our attention. That got Val Campbell's attention. That got your guys' attention. So let me go back to what I said. So since 91 to 2005, they broke 4 new diamonds. Okay, 15-year period. Back in 91 to 2005, they had, and again, the numbers are a little tough to really give a definitive, but they had between 34 to 36 diamonds. Okay, somewhere give or take 1 or 2 there maybe. That's a 50% decline in 15 years, guys. Your diamond base went from 34 to 36 down to 17. What's happening? As a business person, I want to ask, what's going on? What caused that? And they don't talk about that. I noticed when I used to get the ammogram for a while, after a couple, 3 years after we left, I noticed, wait a minute, I don't see all the new platinums breaking and all this. And I tried to ask my upline, and he didn't even answer. And I thought, well, okay. And then I did some digging on my own. But guys, a 50% decline. Is that business growing or is it moving forward? Okay.
Honestly, if you look at a company of that caliber, and you see a decline no growth is actually way worse than just like a staggering nosedive.
Well,
it means people around are like whimpering, like they're trying to do this and it's not working. You've got hundreds of thousands of people that are working and it's not happening for them.
Yeah.
That's very sad.
And looking at the people that are sticking and staying in the organization, but at the attrition rate. So we call that the revolving door. We saw it when we were in Amway.
Get them in, get them out. Get them in, get them out. Get them in, get them out.
And it's exhausting. It's tiring because think of all the time and the energy that you put into bringing someone into your organization. And within, sometimes 3 months time, you're having to replace that person. You're having to build a new relationship.
3 weeks in my experience, honestly.
It can lead to some serious burnout when you're trying to lead an organization.
Yeah. Well, and then the numbers, you look at Amway's revenue, okay, going along with this again, these are numbers, these aren't made up. You can look them up. They're out there. In 2005, when I left, they did $6.4 billion. Now, one of the, I'll just mention his name, Greg Duncan, Double Diamond at the time, was talking about Amway's going to be a $100 billion a year company. Guys, they fell a little bit short. They did $6.4 billion. Their sales peaked in 2012. That's 8 years ago, about $11 billion. Now, as of 2018, the latest numbers, they're at $8.8 billion. So that's not a real stellar. That's about a net growth of 1.8% a year. So they went up, they peaked, and then they're back down. They're still ahead of 2005, but not by a whole lot.
Man. And especially, and here's what's crazy about that statistic. If you look at 2005 to 2020, the thing that's wild about that stat is that this industry has been booming the last 15 years based on technology and advances in those different platforms. Social media, it's, if you're not making money from your smartphone, it's a dumb phone. Everybody's growing. Why are they not?
Well, we're going to get to that. The other numbers, it took Amway 20 years to do $1 billion. So from 1960, that's the year I was born, so I'm not a spring chicken, to 1980. 20 years to do it. Okay, that's great. And obviously we're in different times, different technology and all that, but Jeunesse did it in 5 years, guys. That should get your attention if you're a business person, you're looking at business models going, okay, these guys in 5 years, they hit $1 billion. They've kept doing $1 billion plus in 5 more years. So in 10 years, they're $1 billion plus company. They're also in 152 countries. So those numbers too tell a story. So what I really want to do is think about these guys. If you're looking at that business, the Amway business versus Jeunesse, which we're in Jeunesse, look at the numbers. What is that picture telling you? If you're a business person, your upline is probably not going to share you with that. And the newest person doesn't know where Worldwide was 15, 20 years ago when they had 34 to 36 diamonds. They don't talk about that. They can't.
My problem with the way I was introduced to the Amway business versus what we do now, no one would ever actually tell me what it was. This is maybe why they made it so hard. You had to be an expert on not telling anybody about what you were doing and then getting signups for you to have any success. And that's like the craziest oxymoron ever. Sign them up, don't tell them anything. And when I saw that mentality, that was one of the reasons I wanted to go build my own system and build my own team and have the right partnerships and the right companies. Yeah. Because I wanted people to know what they were looking at day one.
Full transparency.
Full transparency.
Yeah, transparency, disclosure, and that whole game, that goes back to when I first saw it or introduced in the early 80s where, hey, I've got this business, I'm going to be driving a Ferrari or this. You go, what is it? I can't tell you. And you're thinking, I mean,
you can't
You're like,
tell
is this
me.
even
business is
legal?
done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was
Hey,
so
Adam, I'm looking for a contractor, well, I don't know. I can't tell you what I do, but why would you do that? That's weird.
you would hang up the phone and be like, okay, whatever, have a good day. And that's it. And that's the stupidest thing ever, because if you've got and here's the thing, guys, it's because the money's not made from the company.
The majority of
It's a very small percent is made from the company, very small percent. And I know Brad has a lot of insight on this, but people joining Amway, the people that are out there doing the work that are taught not to say anything, they're not making any of the real money either. Go ahead.
So I'll just say my next one would be lack of income disclosure. Now, when I was in, they had a form put out by the company. I don't know what the current one is, but based on the last organizational open that we sat in and watched with Brad Duncan, I think they've gone down in numbers, but the SA 4400 said that the average diamond made $67,200 a year. I think it's about 55 now.
That's pathetic.
And you're always taught, well, that's the average, but in our organization, they make 200,000. Well, they didn't say, no, that was actually, I think, a very real number from Amway itself. No shame on Amway Corporation here. That's what an average diamond made. So when we talk, where's the real money made, Adam, from the comp plan? You had some firsthand information. I discovered it years later by doing some getting on the internet here and kind of finding.
Right back. Carry on, because I have a prop I want to show you guys where the money comes from.
Yeah.
Okay.
So while Adam is doing that, I think what's interesting for us is, when they paint a beautiful vision for you, right? I remember my first ever summit and got to see someone walk the red carpet and go diamond. And you look at that and it's edified in such a way, like it's the highest, one of the highest rankings you can get to. And you look at the couples that are walking the stage and you understand time freedom, financial freedom, and all of that. Now, what do you have, honey?
This is full of money for everybody except the masses of people in the organization that we are from.
Wow.
So these
interesting. I was going to say that wasn't the old product kit, but it's CDs. We had tapes when I got in.
Yep.
You guys still have all that stuff?
We do.
Wow. Well, before you get into that, Adam, I want to say, because I attended dozens of Brad Duncan board plans, and at least I'll give him credit on the latest one. He didn't say this, but he used to tell everybody, he would get up and say, guys, I don't make a dime off the system. And I'd be sitting there scratching my head going, that's equity. You're making all this money in Amway. Why would you say it? Well, Adam, let's talk about that. How is the money really made in this business, in that business?
Well, I don't know if I was supposed to pull this CD off the top of the stack or not, but I just pulled it off. I won't say the name, but the CD is entitled The Road to Freedom. It's a 2-part CD. And the Road to Freedom did not come from Amway. It came from these babies right here.
So what we learned probably when we were on our way out of Amway, there was a conversation that Adam had with a leader in Upline Platinum of ours. And he essentially said, if you don't do things, we were not agreeing with all the ways that the team that we were a part of did.
We broke away from them. I said that. I think I said that a couple of times, but you should say it in your words. You saw it.
So at one point, one of our Upline Platinum said to Adam, he's like, well, if you don't play by our rules, you will miss out on our team, the motivational team's money and bonuses. Basically, they'll write you out of it. And for every CD that is ever cut in an organization, they now have MP4s on an app.
Yeah.
Every meeting, everything you go to, you are incentivized for it. You are incentivized for the amount of CDs and different things that you sell. And so they're earning bonuses. We don't have the information on how much, but it seems substantial based on what they've talked about.
I won't, but this is not new. This is not from the 90s or from when we were in the early 2000s. This is the classics. This stuff happened in the 70s. They were doing this in the 70s and they were still making money off it in the early 2000s all the way along. And just so you know,
And here's our thing, we are we have a system for our business and we are very transparent with people. Systems cost money to upkeep. Like whatever technology you're putting into, the person that sat in the, in the stadium and helped cut this CD, create this CD, like that does cost money. What we're looking for is transparency. And what it felt like to us is this whole thing was being so shielded of like, yes, you earn a percentage, whatever, the average diamond earns in Amway, but that lifestyle is mainly coming from, the CDs and the trainings and the speaking series and things like that. And for us, that felt like a big gotcha. That felt like they weren't being clear as far as what it really looked like for us.
Well, my upline in essence lied, because when he said, guys, I don't make a dime off the system, I was just green enough and naive enough. I didn't even know what he was talking about first. But he's saying that when he's actually, he doesn't make a dime. He's making hundreds of thousands of dollars off the system, because all the books and tapes at the time we bought standing order, right? And then the major functions, we're getting a cut on that. Now, what's interesting, I'm just going to segue real quick. I looked at another business opportunity having to do with legal services. And one of the things that impressed me with the people there, one is they're very real. But they did not, it was very evident, they had no book tape, they had no major system. They were making money off the comp plan. And it was actually a pretty good comp plan. I could tell it was a better comp plan than Amway had, because they had people driving around the country in their motorhomes for months, and they'd come in and do a seminar here and there. And I'm going, they couldn't do that in Amway. If you leave your organization for that many months, it's gone. But I could see they had some income, true residual income coming in, and they weren't making it off books, tapes, and functions. They weren't shining on the newest person on how the actual money is made. So guys, my plea is find out where the money is really made in this business, because it might open your eyes up, because the money should be from the company. If they've got a good enough comp plan, right? You don't need to be doing all this other stuff. But if you're saying the money's coming from the comp plan when the majority of it's coming over here, that's not honest, that's deceptive. And, that's not a good business practice.
Absolutely. My whole thing is people that are within that company, they're some of the most lovely people I've ever met. Okay. Mm-hmm. And Brad, you were one of them. Val was one of them. We were one of them.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing in this industry. It's just that the masses of people that are struggling in that company could go get free if they had a real legitimate opportunity with the skill set that they know. If they just had something that was actually on their side and a team that was actually on their side, they could turn. I mean, I'm just going to say it. I think there's more millionaires sitting in a company that don't stand a chance at ever succeeding than anywhere else in the entire world, because they're so programmed.
Yeah.
Where if somebody could just red pill them and say, hey, they're lying to you. Hey, by the way, if you leave, you're still going to heaven. My risen Savior, Jesus Christ, still loves you. Let me go show you a better way.
And there are other opportunities outside that. For a long time, I thought this was the only opportunity, and my eyes were open real quickly. And there's a lot of people making a lot of money in real business and in other businesses, and it's serious money. I mean, when they have multiple homes and multiple nice cars and condos and all that, okay, this isn't lifestyle on credit card. They're making some bank. Yep. I think the last thing I want to talk about, guys, Amway's compensation plan is really not first class. My old upline, I remember him saying a few years ago, they've got the best compensation plan in the business. And I'll be nice, I'll just say, compared to what?
Yeah, there we go.
Everybody says that, right?
Yeah. Who did you look at? But they are also not up to date in technology. And I'll tell you why. They don't use social media platforms. They don't use Facebook. My old upline doesn't. I checked on them. They don't use it rarely. They don't use it for their business. They don't do YouTube. Brad Duncan did his first Zoom board presentation last month. We sat in and watched it. It was pretty interesting. They did a product demo last week that Joni and I sat in on for a little bit. What was really interesting about it, Adam, aside from the fact that couple of the people speaking were very, stoic, just they're reading a script, no HD cameras. It's like, guys, you don't even know what technology is. I mean, I'm just going, wow, these guys. So, Amway Corporation, no problem with them. They're a good company. They make some good products. I think they're overpriced, but their comp plan has not kept up to date since they started in 1959. They're as old as I am, a little older, and they are not in the mix with social media and what's happening and how you can use it and leverage it. Adam, what do you guys want to talk about that? Because that's kind of your forte here.
It's funny, you know, I'm going to be 2 seconds. I'm sorry. I was not prepared.
This is what happens.
Winging it now, man. You can see
Right?
I'm hiding. I'm not from Washington. I'm just wearing.
No. See, guys, everybody needs to know then when Brad and I and Ashley sit down and shoot these, we don't script them. We just talk.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
This is a trifold pamphlet. Some of you may know what it is. Some of you may not. When I found Amway and this network marketing company, this is where I started. I would open it up, and this is the one I showed my wife the night I sponsored her, just so everybody is aware of it. Kept it. This was the important one, okay? It's the only person I was ever supposed to sponsor in that thing. Would map it out, draw the 642, that type of thing. We went from this to actually owning and developing a state-of-the-art app where we conduct business from our phones.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you think Amway is the only way to go win, you might be listening to the wrong people, because we went from this piece of paper to this thing and so much power behind it and a global opportunity.
Yeah.
I can follow up with my leads in a second. And by the way, I didn't have to shake any of their hands to meet them. They came to me, which is what a real business should provide for you.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I think for us, you know, being able to watch, it's interesting, Brad, getting your take on the team that you came from and the team that we came from. We are seeing them, you know, work to be on social media. They have an app that they're utilizing that, you know, the double diamond of the organization has built out for them. But by and large, what we're seeing is it's very hush hush. And they talk about their business like it's a mentorship program. I've seen it kind of out there. We've been contacted before by people that are cross-signed who didn't know that we were in the organization.
I love those calls. Do you think they're in the Apple iStore?
Yes, they actually are.
Oh, are they?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
but
man,
you have to be,
Apple. Let them know about that.
it is under lock and key in order to get into their system.
Well, we certainly are in the Apple.
That being
store,
said,
so.
you have, you know, an organization that is, you know, disparate from each other. So Brad's organization, very kind of old school, trying to keep up with the technology. Where we came from, you know, very trying to really harness technology nowadays, but still hiding
Don't
under
tell
that.
Anybody though.
Still hiding under that veil. I mean, you can go to our social medias and see, like, we're clearly in a business. I mean, we're not pitching ourselves left and right. We're doing it tastefully. We're sharing our story. We're talking to people about it. But it still beckons the, well, what is it? Right. And that's what I feel like Amway really misses out on when they're presenting themselves online.
They always said you're going to hear all these other things out there, but they're lying to you. By the way, make sure you're at the next major function.
Yeah.
And that's why, because if you're not at the next major function, they're not going to be able to put the crap in your head that they need to keep you in and stop listening to the voice of truth, which, by the way, he is the voice of truth, and he does speak louder than those levels.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to drop the ball or drop the mic drop there. But
you guys should have the final word here. But I'm just going to say, from what I've seen over the last year, the reading, the implementation, the studying I've done, guys, if you're not using social media to build your business, I mean, you're missing out. You're not in the 21st century. The 20th century ended 20 years ago. That we're in 2020 here. I'm sorry, but businesses, and there's still brick and mortar businesses that haven't figured out social media either, and they're missing out on the boat too. So social media is a way to move forward, to leverage your time, to find customers, and it's less expensive.
Oh yeah.
You guys have really taken the technology to the pinnacle with the 3LE team. So I want to commend you guys for that. It's awesome. I'm excited to still see what's going to happen, what's going to take place.
Yep.
And
a lot of stuff ahead, guys. And I'll tell you this. The whole time I was in that company, the Amway company, okay, they said you have to do this because you don't know when things that are outside of your control are going to happen, and you're going to wish you had already built this. I'll tell you guys right now, you're watching it play out in front of you. You saw the whole world get put on lockdown. You saw millions of people lose their job, okay? And I'm just here to ask you guys, how's that thing going for you? Because that was always a tagline. They'd say, well, how's your job going for you? How's your college degree going for you? Well, how's that thing going for you with what's happening right now? Because I'm pretty sure you can't go have face-to-face meetings, and you're not going to be able to have home parties and open meetings and big conventions. Nope. If that ain't working well for you and you want to go make a change, maybe you just got to stop listening to the wrong people and go find people that actually have the things that can help you win for where the world is going. Because we'll never fall behind with where the world's going. We're pretty in tune to it.
Yeah, exactly.
We haven't had anybody shut down their business since we've been going. So COVID-19 has not shut our team down. Guys, we're growing and expanding. So I just say, hey, do you want to stand by and watch, or do you want to jump on the train?
That's it. Jeanette's had the biggest 2 months of the last 10 years while the whole world was on lockdown. So if you know what you're looking at, that's something to pay attention to.
Big time. Yes, it is.
Stuff, right?
And I think just to wrap up this video, from our perspective, we are not here to bash Amway. Obviously, you stated facts, and we were very emotionally tied up. Brad, you spent a lot of time in that organization. We did as well.
Yes.
And, for us, we want to be able to just shed some light on the things that people kind of sweep under the rug. And,
yes, very much so.
We're not here. If you're in Amway and you love Amway, go get them. We wish you the absolute best. But if you
honestly, just give me your address. I'll send you all these. I don't need them.
Yep. If you are at all sitting there in that organization, or you've been a part of that organization and you've been burned, we'd love to get to connect with you, because there are things you can learn. We made a decision to walk away from that business, but not from the industry. And I'm so thankful we didn't, because we are where we are today. We were able to meet Brad and get to work with he and his lovely wife, Joni. And so it has just been such a blessing to us in our lives.
This industry did change my life, without a doubt. It changed my life.
Me too.
Yeah. There are businesses and companies that work, guys. So if you're stuck like I was, and I think so many people are, they're not getting the success. There are other opportunities out there, guys, that will work. And if you really believe what they used to say too is, hey, if Amway screws up, we'll find somebody else. So that was more talk than hey, they should have said, hey, if there's a better opportunity out there, we'll pursue it. Guys, there are better opportunities out there. We're in one. We've spent over 10 years combined searching for the right opportunity. So we didn't just jump on the first moving train we saw and said, hey, let's see what this is doing. We spent some time and done our due diligence to get in here. So if you're frustrated where you're at, things aren't happening, reach out to us. Let's have a conversation, guys. Let's see what we can do to help you out. Seriously.
Amen. 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 Hey, like we've been saying the last 3 or 4 segments, we're not sure how long we're going to carry this on. We're going to carry it on until we're done talking about this thing, because we want to get the message out there, and we want to connect with people. If you are serious about taking your life to the next place and it's not working with where you're at, I don't even care if you're not in Amway and you're somewhere else. We're here to tell you there is a better way. You probably already know how to do it. You just need the trifecta. You need the right team. You need the right system. You need the right opportunity to pull it off. And that's what we're trying to do here. Okay, guys?
Absolutely.
We believe in you. We'll see you next time.
All right, guys.